These are Samson weight plates. In the golden era, this is the stuff they use. If these go out into the world rusted, people won't know what they are. I think this is scrap metal. Many of them heading to the dump, heading to the landfill. These are made with BHP steel. It scares me to think how many are already there and how many are still going. Just throwing these things out. But this one's history. Arnold using stuff like that back in the day. We're gonna clean it. We're gonna restore it. We're gonna save it. I have to collect. I have to collect right now. It's free. I saw this deal. This is the most gym gear I've ever seen. He's gonna have like 100 inquiries. I have to collect right now. He's been inundated. He can't keep up. People offering to pay. $50 and you come now, it's yours. Let's get this done. They're really good looking plates. So I'm getting quite the collection. I left some there because it was on a massive hill and I was actually starting to get concerned with the squeaky sounds this car was making with the weight down here. And I was out of fuel, so I thought I shouldn't add extra luggage. All these bars, they were going to the scrap metal. They're really good curly bars. I was like, oh, don't let that happen. This morning I found some stuff in Narang, one place in Carrara, going to Coomera. And then I'm going to Broadbeach. How could you say no? $120 at one house and $20 at the next to go to Merrimack. Because I left Queensland with New South Wales. It's like this is like an over an hour's drive. 40-minute trip. I just went down to Tweed Heads. They said they didn't want to send it to the dump, but they're getting booted out of their house and they have to leave. This all started by going off Facebook Marketplace, picking up a free golf bag. They came across my ad on Facebook where I said like, I buy your old stuff. And they said, don't worry about buying it. They just gave it to me. Just come and collect it because I do this for business. I'd be more reliable to actually show up. I came exactly when I said I would. And if I didn't go out and get it now, it would not be there tomorrow. This would have been in the landfill. I saved Jim from the landfill. This is saving Jim, so we saved a few gyms today. Homemade makeshift kettlebell. This dude, like, is a welder. Let's go on Shark Tank. It was all lined up right next to the back of the trailer. And they said, this is about to go to the dump. It's always amazing what you can fit in the Suzuki Ignis. Got 1,400 kilos in here. Oh man, I got so much stuff. Later, and I've just got the biggest order of my refurbishing career. 2 van loads are getting delivered from Brisbane today. 1,000 kilos worth of weights, crazy. I've been trying to make space. I was in here all night last night trying to make space. I haven't made any space. So much stuff, and look, I haven't even sold the stuff that I ordered from the same guy earlier this month. I don't know how many weights I currently have, but I have way too many, I know that. He's gonna be here like really soon. Oh my goodness, like 10 minutes. I haven't done anything. that's the first load, the first delivery. Half of the gear, and he just told me he's got this vintage stuff. He's got Barry's, and he's got a lot of Samson stuff at Buffalo. I was like, I don't even have the money for it, so he's bringing it. And I'm like just hoping something will happen where I'll just magically find my money. This is probably how I go into life. This is probably why things go wrong for me. They think this is scrap metal. I guess that's why I'm doing this. That's what it looks like when you sandblast. Took it down to the bare metal. They don't make this steel like they used to. My name's Cali, and I save Jim from the landfill. So much gym stuff to be saved on the Gold Coast. So this weight was somebody's grandfather's. They didn't have the luxury or stops. You had to fit your own. You used a spanner. You can't buy this type of steel anymore. This is not scrap metal. Gym needs to be saved. This does not live at the dump. I went to this lady's house to get the weights. I said, what are you doing with these barbells? She goes, they're going to the scrap metal heap. This thing's been smashed and hammered around. If you did that with today's weights, you'd probably change the whole diameter. Got a few that don't fit on bars anymore. Yeah, this is a vintage weight plate holder. This is something I went for quite a drive for. I saw this actually in a newspaper on the internet. Because somebody went to the library, took a photo, put it on Facebook, and then I saw it and I had to go get it. You can't find this sort of stuff easily. You don't go buy these, you have to find them. This is the grip. It's steel. They don't make dumbbells like this anymore. This is a very thick diameter. People are just throwing these out. This stuff will go into the dump. The more I learn about it, the more you realise that somebody used to train with these. I learn a lot from my customers. The history on this stuff is cool. It taught me a lot about the vintage stuff. I don't think it belongs at the dump. I had a guy who's 71, who's a bodybuilder. He walked in here and he saw all the old stuff. He said he used to train with Arnold in Venice Beach. He looked at some of the old cast irons and this is the stuff he used to train with. He's like, oh, this takes me back. That's how I found out about some of my stuff. Like, these are my vintage bars. I'm still working on this set. It's a little bit different. I like this curl bar, look at this. The stops look different. It hasn't got as much, very much of a curl. The widths are different. Even the weights are different. This stuff was going to the tip. Landfill or the scrap metal heap. Like, what a waste. This all started from nothing. I didn't have any money to start this. I went and found a golf club set that was free, turned that into $125. Everything you're looking at now just paid for itself. I just got my first complaint via management because the neighbours are like, told the manager that I'm stinking them out. I've tried every kind of paint booth imaginable. The call came right after I sprayed the stinkiest stuff. Spraying has to stop. I feel like really bad. My anxiety might actually not be anxiety, it might be a real cause for worry. Permanent markers smell. I don't want to get in trouble again. We're using epoxy with the roller. Like all these things to not use the spray can, but they stink probably more. You might think I'm still spraying. So I had this idea. I want to fry an onion. You know, like when you go to home opens, they put coffee on or cookies. I think it's a barbecue. Oh, that is smelling good. The trick is to use plenty of oil. I'm Cali and I saved Jim from the landfill on the Gold Coast, and now that I've been told off and allowed to paint for a little bit, I had to learn how to refurb probably the proper way, where you just like strip it back. I'm really happy with this because now I don't have to worry about paint chipping or respraying or sealing. That was very expensive. I think all in all, doing it this way, this is what people expect. They don't really expect painted weights anyway. Some of them, which are like vintage, some of them are even antique, bringing them back to what they should have looked like. And the weight plates, bringing them back to the bare metal actually looks really cool. I'm just going to pour some of this on top of a weight. Now, this is very expensive stuff. Man, that's a lot of money right there. So, I'm wasting a lot of money this evening. As I was pouring that, I remembered something my brother told me when I was a cleaner. He said that that'll eat through the plastic. I stopped pouring. It's just the ground. Just throwing away money today. I feel like I really need to secure this deal. I accidentally stumbled upon the greatest Facebook ad of all time. This guy has a gym that is over 40 years old. It's all Samson. One of the most popular weight plates in the powerlifting and bodybuilding community, especially from the 70s and 80s. The amount of customers I've had come in here that know exactly what these are. These were made in Sydney. The Sydney factory produced its own equipment on site. This was taken from the telephone directory in November 1950. These are made with BHP steel. Very heavy gauge steel used in Australia to construct houses, buildings. That is not what they make plates of today. This is the real deal. It's the heavy gauge steel. In 1970, the Australian Metric Conversion Act came into force. We're no longer going to be stuck using pounds, they were going to start using kilos. Those were the years Australia was changing from pounds to kilos. So that's why you see pounds and kilos on weight plates in Australia. You see both. If it hasn't got kilos, then it was pre-1970, and eventually there was no more pounds. So then that would be in Australia post-1980. And if you see both, it is somewhere in between the time period. The imports started coming in. The Sydney manufacturer, they stopped production when they could no longer compete. Read a story online. There was a guy, he went to the factory and spoke to the manufacturers directly about this. The manufacturers were saying we could send our stuff over to China, get them made there and even painted for a lot less than what they're doing right there in Sydney. Could have either sold out and done that and become like everybody else, or close up shop. They closed up shop. Samson Weights then became one of the most well-built plates in the country that lifters now seek out on the second-hand market. Quote from a guy called Mick. He created his home gym and it was Samson Weights purchased directly from the Samson workshop in 1986. There There was a seller that was advertising his Samson weight collection on Gumtree. He said his collection was purchased from the factory in 1982 after getting inspired watching Arnold through the 1980s. You may have heard of a guy called Paul Graham. His name stamped into the Samson weight plate says Paul Graham. Paul Graham was friends, old mate with Arnold. And Arnold came to Sydney to do his final Mr. Olympia to retire. Paul Graham was training with Samson weight plates that have his name on it. And it all links back to these plates. Maybe Arnold touched these, who knows? We don't know. I mean, you really can't be sure. When I went to say, I'm very interested in all this gym equipment, do you have a ute? And he looks like a bit of an older dude. I accidentally asked him if he had a uterus, the very first Facebook message I sent him. Because I was going to pay him to help deliver it, but instead I wrote, do you have a uterus? And I didn't notice that I'd written that autocorrect. Why did it autocorrect to uterus? I don't write uterus to anybody. That shouldn't be in my saved words. He set this entire gym up in a shipping container. He was a bodybuilder. Won all these competitions, had enough winning. Came over to the Gold Coast, brought it all with him, and bought a gym. He sold all of this stuff to his mate Phil in the mid-1980s. And 40 years later, I rock up and see a Facebook ad and go, whoa, go to Samson. And Phil's like, I know. And I'm like, I want them. And he's like, well, I'd like them moved today. He was an older bloke, he had just had surgery and he really needed it moved. And I was like, but today's Friday, Good Friday? And he's like, yep. I said, well, I could take a carload. And he did not really want me to start taking stuff in case I never came back. I wanted to give him a deposit, but he says, no, I want full cash because you're taking some carloads today and I don't want you dumping the leg press. He was afraid I was just gonna leave him there and I was gonna take all the good stuff. I would never. I couldn't hire a truck because it was a 4-day weekend. Nobody was working on that week. It's going to take days to remove. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to my garage. I don't know if it's going to fit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell it. I don't know if I'm going to get evicted when the next rent inspection comes. I can't hire a truck, so I'm going to have to figure that out. So I'm going to figure that out as I move stuff that I can on my own. I just picked up load number 1. I could have fit more, but it was getting heavy. Found out that this car's carry capacity is 450 kilos. It does not feel comfortable. I contacted a bunch of movers to try and help me move the rest of the stuff. It's just so expensive. It's getting up to like $400, $500. The guy really wanted his stuff moved, and I looked everywhere to find some people that would, some people that could, and some people that should, and none of them would. anyway, the guy with the ute that I rely on, he just contacted me and he says, it's easy, I can do it. His name's Ash, very, very convenient and very, very helpful. Very genuine, very nice and very well priced. Nobody wanted to help me except for him, so I was like, all right. The seller was like, there's no way one guy with his ute's gonna pick up some of the heavier stuff. He said if he can back his ute up right to the leg press, he can just like push it up on. Really? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. The owner's like, no, he can't. And I'm thinking like, oh, who am I to judge?
How much do you reckon this way? Any ideas?
This could end up costing me about 600 bucks for the move, or go with the ute guy and it could cost me like 180. So I'm willing to take that risk. Me and Ash did 2 ute loads. I also loaded my car up. 3 of my car loads, so I did 2 the day before. The second he got there, he looked at it, he lifted it, and he went, nah. There's no way this is moving. So we had to leave 3 machines there. So I've got 3 days to figure out how to get the rest of them in here. I go and just buy all this gear, like the next day it's been advertised. Got 80% of this very old vintage gym into the garage. And we're going to pick up the leg lift, 2 cable gyms, and I found somebody today with a big truck that can lift 1,000 kilos, so it should do the trick. I had planned on getting the garage clear before I got the mover to move stuff, because as soon as he dumps the stuff off the vehicle out there, he'll push it in and it's going to stay there. I'm never ever going to get the car in or do anything with my life. So I've got a lot to do. The gym has been complete today. Trying to be quiet. Down here and it's 4 AM. I had 2 days to do this and then I got distracted on day 2. So I went to sleep at 12:30 and I woke up at 2 o'clock. And all I could do is think about how I did too many side quests. I made the Safe by the Bell series. And then the next day I was like, whoa, you really shouldn't have done that, why'd you do that? On that day I also moved everything from that rack to over here, thinking that was a great idea. And 2 days after that I realised, oh hang on, how am I going to get that outside? My very last day I thought, oh, it'll only take like an hour, I'll just finish this dumbbell rack. Well, it took about 10 hours. I worked non-stop and the dumbbell rack's complete. It's a great dumbbell rack. I could only do that if I got rid of this rack, but then I put stuff back on the rack because I can see I clearly need the rack. I've been spending the last hour trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. I don't really have any better ideas. Okay, there's like no access outside. So I just pulled like an all-nighter. Been doing this since 2:30. Today and yesterday I've moved every weight like 6 times. Takes a long time when you're moving stuff on your own. Oh, it's only 1 PM. The delivery dude's coming at 3, so I've got 2 more hours. Check these out. After not sleeping for 24 hours, Olympic weights for $2 a kilo. Could not help myself. Really good ones. Some of them are bumpers. So the delivery people are running late, which is good because I'm always running late. whole bunch of Australian barbell coats. I've got somebody coming for one of racks. Somebody coming for all of the 20s. Wants 10. Somebody coming for dumbbells. I have to find the dumbbells. I mean, they're out in the backyard somewhere. And this is what I have to deal with. It's 5 p.m. Pretty sure I've lifted 10,000 kilos in the last 48 hours. I need to eat a lot of food. I don't need to work out. I just need to stay employed. I have a vintage Samson gym.